This is our second class of cryptography and network security. Okay, so last class we discussed about the importance of cryptography. What is the why we have to go for cryptography? Uh, what is the need in that? Okay, all those things we discussed. Let us recap those topics today first. First 5 minutes. Okay, so first one, yesterday we discussed about what do we make cryptography. Okay, in a single word we can define our cryptography as secret writing. Okay, actually cryptography is a hello. Actually, cryptography is a method of saving your information. Is a process. Okay, that is you're saving your uh, important information from an unauthorized user. We call it as a cryptography. So how we are doing that process means by writing a secret code. Okay, without that is unreadable format. We call that one a ciphertext. So by doing this one, we can save our information from our unauthorized person. So simply we can call a cryptography as a secret writing, because crypto is nothing but secret and graphy is nothing but writing. So secret way of writing the information from source to destination we called as a cryptography. In what way we are writing this secret messages? We say that method, or we call that one as a algorithm. So in this paper we are going to study all those algorithms. Okay, so next we discussed about types of cryptography. So based upon the key types of key, we classified our cryptography into two types. One is a symmetric cryptography, other one is asymmetric cryptography. Symmetric cryptography means if you want to transfer your data from your source to destination, means you'll be using a same key. So that type of cryptography we call it as a symmetric key cryptography. And asymmetric key cryptography is that when you use a different key for your encrypting and decrypting of your information, means we call it as a asymmetric cryptography. So based upon the key they are classified. Again the symmetric will be classified into a cipher, and it goes on like this. Okay, so these are the types of cryptography. Next we discussed about important terms which are used in your cryptography. So what are the terms you have to remember always when you talk about this cryptography? It's a five terms you have to remember, or five terminologies you have to remember. One is the plain text, second one is the cipher text, encryption, decryption, and final is that key. Okay, so these are the five terms or five terminologies you have to remember in the whenever you talk about this cryptography. So plain text is the original message. It's a readable message from your source to destination, where sender will sends the information and receiver will receive the message or information. We call it as a plain text. Okay, second one is that cipher text. It's a secret message. We call it as a cipher text. And third one is encryption. In order to get the cipher text, plain text has to be converted into a cipher text. This can be done by using the encryption method or encryption algorithm. Okay, similarly, decryption means you have a ciphertext. From the ciphertext has to be converted into a meaningful message which can be read by the receiver side. In order to do that one, we have to use the decryption algorithm. Okay, we call that one as a decryption. Okay, and key, what do you make key means? In order to convert from plain text to ciphertext, we need some material resources. We call it as a key in order to lock that messages. Okay, and in order to lock and unlock that messages, we need a key in order to do that one. So that is the purpose of the key. So these are the five terms which are used in your cryptography. Then we discussed about the block diagram. So in your block diagram, always remember that encryption exists in your sender side and decryption exists in your receiver side. And encryption means converting your plain text into ciphertext, and decryption means converting your ciphertext into a plain text. Next, we discussed about what is the difference between symmetric key cryptography and asymmetric key cryptography. Symmetric key cryptography, it uses the same key both for encryption and decryption. When you use the same key, it may be any type of key. Okay, so when you use this one, we call it as a symmetric key. So what is the drawback of this symmetric key cryptography means, when you have a minimum number of nodes means you will not have any problem because you will use only the minimum amount of key, and organizing the key and generating key will be easy in the case of a symmetric key cryptography. But when you use a, large amount of many nodes when you are using means, in that case what happens means, maintaining bulk amount of key, it's a tedious task. Okay, already we discussed example of that one. So in order to avoid that one, we went for asymmetric key cryptography. So depends upon the application, depends upon the need, we can use either symmetric key cryptography or asymmetric key cryptography. So asymmetric key cryptography can also be called as a public key cryptography. In this we use two keys, one is the private key, other one is a public key. Two keys will be used in all the nodes. Okay, each node will consist of a two keys, one is a private key and public key. Suppose sender uses a, private key means, this receiver will use a public key to decrypt the data. Suppose sender uses the public key of your receiver's means, then what it will, the receiver will do means, it will use the private key to decrypt the data. So this is how this you have to use it in, key should be used in your asymmetric key cryptography. At last we discussed about 10 rules. Okay, you have to follow in order to transfer your data in your network. Okay, when you are communicating in your internet, what are the ethics to be followed, you have to use that one. Okay, so this is the thing you have, we discussed in our last class. And actually if you see your first unit syllabus, first they have given what are the ethics you have to follow, then what are the policies, rules, what is the need of security needed when communicating, when you're transmitting data in your internet. Okay, so you have to study that one. So first you are going to go through all those topic in today's class. At the end, let us see what are the different types of attacks, what are the services and mechanisms are available. Let us discuss at these topics at the end. So first let us see, when you are communicating in your internet, okay, when you are using your internet or when you are using your system, what are the rules you have to follow, what are the things to be considered in an organization also, how you have to follow the rules, how you can upgrade your skills, everything we can study today. Okay, so next let us see general ethical principle. Okay, next one. So generally we have to follow these 7 principles. These are the ethics to be followed in a computer society. So first thing is that you have to be a well human being. Okay, and you have to contribute your something to your society. Okay, that should be your first principle you have to follow. Second one is that you should not harm others. Let us consider, even though your that is your friend message or information also, without his or her permission you should not read their information and you should not spread that information in your network. Okay, that should be avoided. So you have to work in such a way that when you're transmitting any data, when you're you're sending any information means you have to see that that should not hurt or that should not harm anybody. Okay. And next one, third thing you have to follow is that you have to be honest and trustworthy. Say suppose if any confidential data is given to you means you have to keep that one as a safe. You should not spread it across over it. Okay. So you should be honest, okay, to that side. And next one is you should some data should not be, that is some information should not be discriminate, okay, towards your social media. So according to that one you have to follow that thing. Okay. Next one, suppose if you get if you see any new ideas and innovations means you have to give some respect over to that one. Okay. And sixth one is you have to respect the privacy of others. You should not interfere that privacy. Okay. If they say that if they say that this is the privacy means you should not interfere that one. So that is your sixth one. And seventh one means you have to maintain and you have to honor the confidentiality. It may be a bank balance, it may be a any medical related issues, that should be maintained confidentiality. If you have any databases means that should be a confidential. Okay. Depends upon your organization or whatever may be. So these are the seven ethical principle or general principle you have to follow. If you consider any organization, if you consider any in an education institution, whatever may be, these are the general thing has to be followed. Okay. And second thing is the professional responsibilities. If you are working any organization means, okay, so what is your responsible when you are working? Okay. So first responsibility is that when you are developing any product, okay, when you are doing any work means you have to see that that is high quality. Okay. That is very effective and dignity should be maintained and it should be a professional one. Okay. So that you have to follow, that is your first rule you have to follow. Second one, you have to maintain the competence. Okay. That is suppose in your professionalism, okay, like you have to upgrade yourself and you have to maintain that one. If it is a current trend, okay, if now you can say that now everything happens in your online, everything, you can't meet a person individually. Okay. If happens like this means you have to adapt according to that one. So that you have to upgrade according to that one. So that is your second professional skill. And third one is that you have to follow certain rules and regulations of your organization work. Like if you are saying that these are the documentation that should not be shared with your friends or something like this, or these are the rules to be followed. If they are saying in your company or any organization means you have to follow according to that. When you are violating to that rule means then that is the that is not a correct one. So that is the third rule you have to follow. So first you should know that what are the laws or what are the rules should be maintained in your organization. So before signing up your paper or agreement, you have to study all those points. Even though if it is a 4 to 5 papers means, even though it is a very difficult to read all those things, no problem, you have to sit and go through each and every points and you have to analyze it, then you sign in that paper. If you have signed in that paper means it means that you are ready for everything and you are going to obey all the rules which are provided in your organization. So that third thing is very important: know and respect existing law pretending to professional work. Okay. Next one is accept and provide appropriate professional review. That is, review is very very important. If you are doing any work, if it is very new work to you means you have to get feedback from others and you have to review and you have to get some opinions from expert persons, and you have to upgrade your skills and you have to make do uh, reviews frequently. Okay, so that should be followed in your fourth point. And last one, the fifth point is that you have to evaluate your computer system in the case of a future risk. Suppose if you are in the case of your machine learning, if you are developing anything like this which involves your normal human beings, means you have to consider that factor also in future, whether it will affect any human beings or normal human beings, something like this. You have to analyze the risk and you have to work according to that one. So that is the fifth point. And sixth point is that you should be very careful while you are signing your contracts, any agreements. Okay, so that is your responsibility. You have to be very careful on that. Next, seventh one is that you have to improve your public understanding of computing and its consequences. Okay, so day by day everything is changing, isn't it? So you have to adapt according to that, and you have the rules and laws will be changed according to that. So you have to upgrade according to that one. And you have to, and as a human being you have to understand everything. So that is the seventh point. And you should be a responsible person for your consequences. If you face if you have any problem, means be a responsible person. Don't say that this is not my problem, something like this. Okay, and last one is that accessing and communication resources only when authorized to do so. Okay, in your organization, if you don't have any rights to do any work, means you should not do that one. That is the illegal one. Okay, when you have given any rights to do that one, only you have to do. Even though you are a manager or something like this, means if you don't have any rights to do any some work assigned to do, means you should not do that work. Okay, and you should not use that resources also. So these are the certain points you have to consider in the case of your professional responsibilities. And you have to follow the hierarchy, everything's are included. Okay, these are the points which are given in your ACM Act. And third one is that leadership principle, professional leadership principle. If you are a leader, okay, then what are the steps you have to follow, what are the things to be considered. Okay, if you are a leader, means you have to you have to be a human being, good human being first of all. And doing during your work, okay, you have to see that your employees or your people are working properly or not, and they are, you have to provide an environment in such a way that they are upgrading their skills regularly. Okay, so these are the leadership qualities. And they should know that whom should this work should be assigned. Okay, if your some groups are there, means the leader should know that which group have the capability to do this task. Okay, so these are the some capabilities of leadership they have to follow. Okay, so first rule, let us see this one. You have to ensure that public good, and you have to concern with that one, even though your professionalism. Okay, you have to see that one. That is your first rule you have to follow. Second rule, you have to manage your personal resources to design, and you have to build information resources that enhance the quality of working life. That is your second rule for a leadership. And third one is that acknowledge and support proper authorized users for your organization computing. That is, you have to see that who are the authorized person and who are the unauthorized person who are using the resources, who can use this resources. Everything should be responsibility of the leader. He has to say that who are the responsible person. Okay, so leader plays a vital role. And they have to see that their organizations are growing up properly, and they have to adapt to any environment. According to that, the leaders should work. Okay, so these are the three things you have to follow in your network security problem. Okay, so next one, in your 1974 US government, they gave a act. Okay, which are the four things you have to consider. That's very very important. And you have to maintain privacy, and it should be a confidential. So what are the things? Mean, first one is the banking and financial related records. Okay, so that is very very confidential, that has to be maintained properly. So hackers should not easily hack your bank details. Okay, you have to be very careful. Suppose if anyone says that give your bank password or details, means immediately you should not give the details to them. So that is the first thing you have to do. Second one is credit reports financially. Okay, suppose if the bank balance or something, if they are somebody is asking, means you have to be very careful, and immediately you should not share your details to them. Okay, so that is a second thing. Next, third one, medical and health insurance record in your hospital. Okay, definitely they will maintain the medical databases, what type of diseases is patients having, whether the insurance are claimed or not, what type of medicines he is taking. Okay, that is patient's information should not be shared to anyone. That should be a confidential. If you are sharing that one also, it is a illegal one. Okay, so that is a third thing. And fourth thing is that children's privacy. Privacy is that when it is under 13, means certain data should be maintained in a private manner. That is, in which school he is studying, what is the who is the parents name, something like this. So these are the some restrictions that should not be there in your thing. And moreover thing, suppose when you want to create any Facebook or something ID, you should not allow the children to do that one. So all those things comes under your children's privacy. And next one is electronic communication. So electronic communication, okay, through your internet. Okay, you have to be very careful what type of information you are transmitting. Okay, so these five things are very very important when you consider your confidential matter. And this US put that law according to that one in 1974. And next topic is that security policy. Let us see that what are the security policy available. You should know this policy, so that you have can be very careful while working uh, in your internet. Okay, so, to set up policy, initially they considered three things. So first thing, they considered that who should have access to this system. Okay, all cannot access to the your system. Okay, so that is the first policy they considered. Suppose some people can read your information, some people can read your information and they can update your information, some people can't read your information. So this is nothing but a access to the system. So who have the rights to use your system is your first thing. Next one, how it should be configured. That system should be configured in what ways you are going to protect your system. Okay, so that is your second thing. And third thing is that how to communicate with your third parties. Okay, when you want to send information from source to destination, directly you cannot send your information from source to destination. Sometimes you may need your third party help. That is we call it as a trusted third party. You have to ensure that they are a trustable person, and according to that you have to communicate. Okay, so according to these three criteria, they developed the policies. And these policies are divided into two types. One is user policy, other one is IT policy. User policy are nothing but we are the users. So how you have to use your Gmail, or how you have to use your system, or what are the policy you have to follow when you are downloading any software, or what are the things you have to agree before signing your agreement. Okay, you have to read the agreement, and according to that you have to act. Okay, whether you are giving permission to access your camera or data, it goes on like this. So all these comes under your user policies. So IT policy is nothing but in an organization when they are developing any applications or product, means what are the policies they have to follow. That comes under your IT policies. So now next we are going to discuss about your IT policies. And till now, do you have any doubt? Shall I proceed? Have any doubt? You can type. I hope you are listening. Say yes or no. Are you there, students? Yes. Okay, ma. Next, let us discuss about this IT policies. So, IT policy, we have four IT policies. Okay, general policies, server policies, firewall access and configuration policies, and last one is backup policies. Okay, so general policies is that if you consider any organization, what are the rules they have to follow? It may include some timings, working principles, some ethics, all those things comes under your general policies. Before joining into that organization, you have to follow that agreement. Okay, you will sign with that agreement. So all those comes under your general policies. Second one is that server policies. So server policies in sense, who are the website you are going to allow, and which website you are going to block. Okay, so that depends upon your server policies. And firewall access. Okay, firewall access depends upon your company. Some company may allow you to access your pen drive, or some company may not, and some company may allow you to access some websites. Okay, some will avoid that one. So all those things comes under your firewall access. And last one is backup policies. So backup policies is that, suppose if you want to take any data. Okay, let us consider for a future purpose. Okay, if you want to store any information, means, so what are the data you can store, take as a backup, how long you can take, and frequently how long you can keep your log files. Okay, everything will comes under your backup policy. So these four policies are comes under your IT policies. Next one, types of policies, means these are the different types of policies. Please go through these types of policies. Okay, what are the types of policies? These are the general things. Okay, you can read this one. Permissible policies means it is a little restriction. Like, let us consider when you're opening your internet. Okay, you can say that these are the website you can allow to see that one. Okay, some website, let us get parenting. Okay, so that is not allowed, means you have to give permission according to that one. So that comes under your permissive policy. Next one, prudent policy, is a highly restricted thing. That is, if it is restricted, means you should not ask the permission whether I can enter into that or not. Okay, that we call it as a prudent policy. Next one is acceptances user policies. Okay, user policies means what this user can do and what they should not do in your system. So that we call it as a user policy. Suppose if you're giving any application, okay, to your user, means you have to give some guidelines. Okay, while using these applications. Okay, you can use this one. Like, let us consider you should not capture the images, and you should not share this images to your friends, something like this. So these are the policy which comes under your acceptance user policy. Next one is user account policy. So user account policy means, suppose when you're using any application. Okay, when you're downloading any softwares, or when you're using any application, means these four things should be considered. That is, how you have to use your password, and you have to say about your age of your user. And say, suppose when you are using any Facebook or Gmail, something like this, means more than 18 age more than 18, they are not allowed to use that website, isn't it? So these are things comes under your user policy. And when you're giving any password, in order to maybe some third party may misuse your password. Okay, so you can keep that number of times, how many number of times you can type your password. Okay, all these things comes under your user account policy. Next one, information protection policy. So some information are very very important. It may be a company or it may be a individual person. Okay, that has to be protected properly, means then that thing comes under your information protection policy. Then remote access policy, this is for a big company. So if you have a n number of branches, means so to access that small branches, means that main company or branch will have that policy. So according to that policy they have to work with it. Okay, next one is firewall management policy. Already you know this one. Network policy. So network policy, you have to authorize whether if any new devices are connecting into your network, means whether you have to allow or not. Like if you have a wi-fi connection, if your friend requesting to you, means then you have the authority to accept or not. So that comes under your network policy. Next one is email usage policy, software security policy. Usage policy means some organization, everything you cannot send your information to other organization. Okay, that sending message will be in a restricted manner, so that we call it as a email usage policy. And last one is software security policy. It's a common thing when you're downloading your software. Okay, you should not, where you have to see that whether it is a free or paid version, and you should not violate that one, and you should not use the software without paying that one. So all those things comes under your types of policies. Okay, and uh, next one is security attacks, services and mechanism. This is your next topic. And actually if you see your cryptography, or if you take any network, means we have a attacks, you will have a many attacks. Okay, so that is if you can have two types of attacks. One is a passive attack, other one is active attack. The difference is that passive attack means that is without any that is your main thing. Okay, that is just your listening. They will listen only what you are doing. They will not do something in your messages. That type of attack they call it as a passive attack. Okay, because of that attack you will not get any problem. Okay, then that type of attack we call it as a passive attack. Active attack means when they are changing your messages or doing something in your thing, means then we call it as a active attack. And I think we can discuss this topic in our next class. Okay, this is a very important topic and it is an interesting one, and let's discuss about this topic in our next class. Till today, that is we discussed about cryptography, types of cryptography, block diagram of cryptography, and what are the ethics and what are the policy, what is the need of your security, everything we discussed till now. Okay, so till now do you have any problem, or if you find any difficult topic, means you can unmute your mic and you can ask me your doubts, because you have only 3 minutes more. Okay, so to end this session, yes students, please open your mic, ma. Is no one have any doubt? So you're clear with that, isn't
Anything,
it?
type in your chat box.
Yes, if you have any doubt, at least you type that one in your chat box, ma.
So you people are very well about this concept, right? Just type yes
Yes,
or
they don't
no.
have any doubt. And I will share this theory, okay, in your Google Classroom. Please go through it. Okay, that is the notes of this first unit today. Most probably I will share this first unit notes. Please go through this first unit notes, okay. And along with that, I'll try to share this PPT also. Yes, shall I ask questions, ma, individually? If you don't have any doubt, means uh, yes. Does public key can be hacked? If you see, hacking means, actually, if I want to say one thing, we can't say that everything are safe, isn't it, in this real world? If you give your password or information to anybody, means definitely that can be hacked. You can't say that if you are using your iPhone, or this is a very safer thing, okay. That is, we can avoid, we can protect that one, whether it is a public key or if it is a private key, means it is a possibility of hacking, provided when you are sharing your details to your someone, okay. Without the knowledge of a concerned person, you can if you are sharing some information, means easily they can hack. So you have to be very careful. Not only the public key, even private key can be hacked. That is the Pingala. Is it okay, ma? Actually, if you see that key, okay. Suppose if you are giving your if it is your key, okay, you have locked your important documents in your bureau, okay. When you are giving that key to someone, means then easily they can open that key. Or if they know the model of that key, means they can utilize that one, okay. So you have to protect that key properly. So that is in your, you have to do. So you have to keep careful. So any other doubt?
No, ma'am, let's wind up our class today.
Yes, yes, it's time up, I think. I hope that you are listening the class. Please try to take notes parallelly, okay. It will be very useful to you. And please go through the each day portions. uh, and if you have any doubt, okay, please ask me. If you don't have any doubts, means let us end up this sessions, okay. So tomorrow let us discuss our different attacks and rest of the topic, okay. Yes, thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma'am. Kanaguli, ma'am. Kanaguli, ma'am.
Kanagabali ma'am.